Let's start a fairly simple question. What is a gene? That seems like a very trivial question, right? Typically, gene was some segment of your DNA that codes for a protein, and it can be distinguished. We know the beginning of the gene and the end of the gene, and that's how I was taught it, and that's how many people think about it. But believe it or not, what is a gene is not a question for like a first grader. It's not a question for us. It's a question that top scientists in the field right now are asking themselves. So again, if somebody tells you very confidently, I know exactly what a gene is, I know exactly how it works, you should say no. The smartest people in the field don't know what gene is, and they don't know how it works. They're just opening up a whole new world. Many scientists and biologists, many doctors will disagree with this vehemently because they don't know the latest literature. They don't have the time. But I will tell you that we know that plants and even mammals can rewrite their DNA with RNA. It actually happens. It's not some isolated events. It's becoming more and more clear that it happens. First, you have to ask yourself, how is that possible? Like, how is it possible that there's a central dogma of biology, and then all of a sudden this guy Daniel, puts on this bright shirt and tells me, that's all wrong? Well, it is possible because I will tell you, we as humans, the scientists, know very, very little about what goes on in our genome. We're just starting to understand some of the effects. And if you look at some of the misconceptions that science had about genome, it's like there's always new frontiers, and they seemingly just really turn around and change our knowledge completely. And we're living in that time where we're turning another page in genomics, where a lot of things are questioned because there's so much new data coming in. DNA to RNA to protein is not right. RNA can actually rewrite DNA, and it happens quite a lot. We see all kinds of strange things. Sometimes we now have experiments that show that both parents have certain DNA, but their offspring has a different DNA. Somehow there's things outside of DNA that change it. All of this information challenges our conventional definition of a gene. This person that, Bing Ren is not a marginal guy. This is an article from Nature, which is the most prominent scientific journal. And Roderick Guigo, the third bullet point, it says the degree of complexity that we see is completely non-anticipated. Be humble. I'm going to try to get that across to you and to scientists. Be humble. The last bullet point is John Maddox said that a lot of the information, remember this word information, we're talking about computer code. It doesn't matter that its computer code is within us. It is a computer code. It is actually being transacted by the RNA. And more as we get into it, we find out that the things that were deemed important, remember, what science thought was the most important thing becomes the less important thing, and there are new things coming to the fore.